Tammy is.
6:50 now.
I feel like we haven't done this in a long time.
We haven't. It's been a while.
Someone about died.
I about died, I believe is what Ms. Parker was
My last
referencing.
one's 1 minute. We'll say send you.
Is streaming appropriately? Whenever you are. Yes, ma'am.
Call this meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call.
Commissioner Hay?
Present.
Commissioner Morton?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cordell?
Here.
Commissioner Fowler?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Present.
Okay, we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda. I do have one change to make. We'll be moving number 9, proclamations, to number 5, and then everything else will shift down.
Make a motion to adopt it.
Second motion.
Motion second, all in favor? And do we have any comments from attendees?
I have no one that has previously signed up to speak. I do not know if there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak.
And then the approval of the April 14th Board of Commissioners monthly meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? And then number 5, we've got proclamations. So we've got 2 proclamations here, and we'll vote on both. Well, we'll vote on one at a time. The first proclamation will be recognizing Juneteenth. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, declaring slaves in Confederate territory free, making the way for the passing of the 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States of America. And whereas the celebration of the end of slavery, which became known as Juneteenth, is the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery in the United States, when Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas on June 19, 1865, bringing news that the Civil War had ended and that the Emancipation Proclamation had declared all enslaved people free nearly 2.5 years earlier. And whereas the first Juneteenth celebration was a time for reassurance, prayer, and the gathering of family members and neighbors, and today a time of remembrance and celebration within communities throughout the country that promotes and cultivates knowledge and appreciation of African American history and culture, while encouraging continuous self-development and respect for all people and cultures. And I, Katie Cordell, Mayor Pro Tem, and the Board of Commissioners for the Town of Ranlo, do hereby declare June 19, 2022 as Juneteenth in the Town of Ranlo, North Carolina, and urge all citizens to join in celebrating a day so significant in the history and heritage of our nation and city. In minutes thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Ranlo to be affixed this 23rd day of June in the year of our Lord, 2022. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
I'd like to second that, in accepting this proclamation is employee universal. That's it.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This proclamation has been adopted. And for the second proclamation, it's for LGBTQ+ Pride Month 2022. Whereas the Town of Ranlo denounces prejudice and discrimination based on age, gender identity, gender expression, race, religion, marital or familial status, national origin, immigration status, sexual orientation, or physical attributes as an affront to our fundamental principles. And whereas Pride Month began in June of 1969 on the one-year anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City after LGBTQ+ and allied friends rose and fought against the constant police harassment and discriminatory laws that have since been declared unconstitutional. And whereas throughout much of the history of the United States, same-sex relationships were criminalized in many states, and many LGBTQ+ people in the United States were forced to hide their LGBTQ+ identities while living in secrecy and fear. And whereas the town of Ranlo appreciates the cultural, civic, and economic contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer plus community, which strengthens our collective community and social welfare. And whereas it is imperative that young people in our community, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their community. And whereas, despite being marginalized, LGBTQ+ people continue to celebrate authenticity, acceptance, and love. Now therefore I, Katie Cordell, Mayor Pro Tem of the town of Ranlo, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2022 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month and urge residents to recognize the contributions made by members of the LGBTQ+ community and to actively promote the principles of equality, liberty, and justice in the town of Ranlo. In witness thereof, I appear unto set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Ranlo to be affixed this 23rd day of June in the year of our Lord 2022. Do I have a motion to adopt this proclamation?
Before, I have a statement that I would like to say before the motion's made, if it's okay. Being the first openly member of the LGBTQIA community represented on this board, I would be remiss if I didn't vocalize my support for this proclamation. Pride started as a response to the hate and unfair targeting of people for just being themselves. A statement that said that we are here and we're not going anywhere, and a wish that we could all live in harmony here in America. Pride is not a time set aside for the LGBTQ+ community to show off their sexual identity. It's not a time to annoy those who are not like-minded. And it's not a time for the members of the LGBTQ community to be, it is a time for those members of the LGBTQ+ community to be proud of themselves, proud of who they are when it feels as though the majority of the world is against them. Proud to be amongst the people who see them for who they are without judgment. I want all the citizens of Ranlo to feel that they belong here in Ranlo. So as a commissioner of this board, I want to say that if you identify as a member of the LGBTQ community or an ally, I want you to know that I see you and I'm glad you're here. We as a community are better when we all are welcome at the table. And I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for considering this, and as well as the Juneteenth proclamation, and hope that it's all 5 general vote.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the proclamation.
I'll say it. All in favor? Opposed? Proclamation is adopted. Here in the crowd are here for the proclamation, so we'll take a 5-minute recess.
Okay.
And you guys can do photos, and then you can go while we carry on with the budget business.
You want to do signed copies? Jamie said that someone was here that wanted to, one of us, you want to live it?
But if for some reason it's not after.
Okay. We can, if you want to do a picture, I can take it.
So if you just want to stand
Katie, you want a picture with the two of you, one with everyone? How do you?
Do you guys want to join? Good. Would you like to join us for, yeah.
Yeah, we have a copy here, if you'd like.
Grab one for the team one. Either you guys let join.
Thank you so much.
Right here.
All right. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming. You can add that. Thank you so much for coming. So nice to meet you. Glad to have you. Sure. Okay, sure, yeah.
Minutes is up. Okay.
Oh, no, I thought that that must be what Ms. Sweet, you're advertising different. Move it so you can advertise.
Yeah, here's a text.
Moved. Matthew, what are you doing up front?
He finally sat down, he's on the hallway.
Is the air conditioner broke in this room?
I turned it down and went over the bypass.
It could just be.
It is one. I'm so sorry, Jason. Jason's watching you online, Matthew.
Is he watching?
Yeah,
Say hi to
way.
Jason.
No, stand right there and go, hey, Jason.
What you think about it? What you think about it?
Alright, so we're gonna reconvene this meeting. And move on to, the consideration of budget ordinance for fiscal year 2023. And we have a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Any second? All in favor? We are now in public hearing. Ms. Glenn?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before you tonight, you have the budget ordinance for fiscal year 23. You also have the capital improvement ordinances for our grant funds. Both of those special project ordinances are before you tonight. One from the Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Water Infrastructure. That is for $3,367,300. And our grant project ordinance for the SCIF, the State Capital and Infrastructure Grants. Those total $3,592,750. Those are the three operating budgets that we will be operating under beginning on June 1. This encompasses all of the feedback from our prior budget discussions and then authorizes staff to make the necessary arrangements to close the current fiscal year and proceed with the next fiscal year budget. So both of those are for consideration. We'd welcome any public comment. We've advertised for the public hearing with the Gaston Gazette. And as you will recall, in May, I submitted to you the budget and my budget message. So, Madam Mayor, I would advise that anyone that would like to speak on the budget is welcome to at this time. Madam Acting Mayor.
Do we have any public comment on the budget? Okay. We have a second to close the public hearing? All set. Go.
Wait.
All in favor? Public hearing is now closed. Do we have any comments from the commissioners for consideration of the budget?
Make a motion to pass the budget as written. I'll second.
I have a comment. Find the line item here. I had a comment on. Let's see the line item here. But, I had a comment on health insurance and salary for board members and, the mayor of the governing body.
I'm sorry, actually, we're out of order. We have to vote on the budget as presented.
Got it.
This motion and second been made. So all in favor of adopting the budget as presented?
If
Two.
discussion would be appropriate after a motion and second has been made. Any changes, of course, would require a revised motion, but once a motion and second is made, discussion can ensue, if that's how you want it.
Okay, so, as of now, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I did them before. Right now, it looks like we're paying around $650 a month per board member who does take healthcare, out of their things, and about 90, plus the $90, so let's say around $700 and something for board members, and compensation for board members who do take advantage of the health insurance benefit, and about $90 a month for those who don't. So my recommendation would be to pull that and look at it and see if we can make compensation equal across the board, whether that be being able to buy into health insurance but not getting it for free, and increasing salary to make up for some of that budget hit, or another suggestion. So
I have a clarification, I guess I want to say to that. Not that I don't feel like commissioners, they should feel like they get compensated equally. I'm on board with that. But a benefit that's offered by the town is not really compensation, it's a benefit. So, not that I'm opposed to everybody feeling like they're compensated equally, but just on the language I want to put it.
Do you have specific other suggestions?
I think the specific numbers that I had looked at had to do with getting rid of the fully paid benefits from the town for the health insurance, and increasing salary pay for each member to $300 a month. So that would be a net decrease to the budget hit from the governing body. So basically a pay cut, or a tax cut for taxpayers or whatnot.
Mr. Blanton, did you say that the more people we have on insurance is actually cheaper for the town for insurance rates, right?
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Today, we actually met with Contemporary Benefits for open enrollment, and they provided the final numbers for the plan that was submitted that included two of our Board of Commissioners and our mayor. For that plan, the renewal rate is going to be $480.15 per month. That's for all employees. That premium will be $480.15 a month. And just a point of clarification, Mr. Hay, are you recommending, or are we discussing increasing the pay for commissioners and the mayor to $300 per month and requiring them to pay that $480.15 premium. Am I understanding correctly, or are we looking at discontinuing health care insurance for our elected officials, discontinuing that option, and then moving forward with an increase in
No,
salary?
it was for them to buy in at cost.
To buy.
Yeah,
Okay.
to buy in at cost. And to my understanding, that would still save the town money.
I don't see where we're saving town money.
Oh, well, I actually called around and got every single town's rate
Mhm.
that they pay their board members, and the average is $470 a month. So the 300 would be below the average. What we're spending on the health insurance for commissioners comes to a $21,000 a year cost. At the 300 that Trevor brought up for every elected official would equal that $21,000. And so the money that's budgeted to actually pay the commissioner governing board would be saved. So there would be a savings.
There would be a savings for, for in the budget.
I don't know what the actual amount, I want to say it's around $10,000.
There will be a savings. The recommended budget provided for $7,000 per employee for healthcare insurance because prior to the recommended budget being submitted, we did not have final numbers from the insurance company. We were able to negotiate a lower rate, so it's that $480.15 a month. So I mean, roughly, we're looking at a little closer to $5,500 a month than $7. But yes, it would equate to a savings. So just to be clear, point of clarification, we're looking at the commissioners that are currently on the health care plan. The recommendations or suggestion or what's on the table or what's being discussed at this time is that they could continue in the plan
That's fair.
and pay for the
difference.
coverage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, was that motion for all elected officials?
For all elected officials.
Yeah, it's just a discussion at this point. The original motion on the floor is to accept the budget as is and seconded, so we're just discussing
I do
the
not see
budget.
raising nothing.
This would be a cut.
Because you
cut.
taking taxpayers' money,
This would be a cut for
but
taxpayers.
you taking taxpayers' money and doing what you want to do. The budget is set and everything else. I mean,
Yeah, that's what our discussion's about.
yeah, but you taking taxpayers' money.
So you would rather spend more taxpayer money?
No,
That's
I
what
don't
you're-
want no raise. I rather say 8311. I feel good. I don't take no more money from the citizens.
But you would rather have more people, other people on the board make more than you for the same exact job? More compensation?
That's
Even
fine.
though cost of taxpayer money?
I'm totally against it.
As long as you're on the record saying that you'd rather have more money charged to
I rather
taxpayers.
for the amount go to a senior citizen account and let the senior citizen have something to do.
What senior citizens are you speaking of?
In the county level, senior citizens.
I'm saying, would you rather have less of a budget hit?
Look, I got insurance. I got health insurance.
So do I.
Well, I don't need no raise.
Well, are you
I'm
voting
here,
raise?
I'm here for the citizens.
Hey,
I think that's a,
No, you don't calm me down. Don't you calm me down. I don't need the money. I'm not gonna take taxpayers.
Good point.
I'm not saying you have to.
that's on the table. Obviously, there's a disagreement, and we'll solve it through motions and seconds and votes. Is there any other comment on Trevor's proposal? Do we have anything else in the budget that anybody wants to discuss at this time?
I have one thing, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Since we last met, there has been an issue with a valve on number 7 with the main water line. As you will recall, Bill Manufacturing had traditionally been all linked to one account, 1 meter. Mr. Harper, Public Works Department, Mr. Green have researched the issue. They've tried to split the line, split the service from the cabinet manufacturing place, if you're going into Lowell, the building on the left that abuts the railroad tracks, and the building that is on the right. They're owned by two different owners. They're trying to split the service. Unfortunately, the valve is broken on our side of the line. And they called when they were trying to split the line. There was an issue. Our Public Works Department investigated it. Unfortunately, it's not an item that we're going to be able to take care of in-house. We've got a quote that's before you tonight from Kemp Construction for $26,876. It is our responsibility to fix this particular issue. I would recommend or request that the board consider this as a capital project to be included in the amended budget for the enterprise fund or for the utility fund. So that is an addition that I would like to see added. As there is a motion on the floor to accept as is in a second, we would need unless Mr. Moore would like to amend his motion, but it seems like we do have some
I got a
differences
question
of
on
the
that.
opinion.
Can we use the Rescue Act fund for that?
We could look into the possibility. We have not earmarked the ARPA funds just yet. That's a possibility. We could do revenue replenishment at such time that we receive the second round of funding from the ARPA funding, which should be, I hope, within the next month. That is a possibility. So if that does indeed be the case, we could amend the budget at a later time for revenue replacement of those particular funds. So that could be possible. Yes, Mr. Moore.
I was looking at the budget and the public works, and I'm really not comfortable with cutting anything out of public works to pay for that.
Mhm.
So that leaves me where Commissioner Moore's, if we can find some way to fund that.
Mhm. We will
This
do what
might
we
be
can
fine.
to alleviate the strain on the budget, on the operating budget, but it would need to be included in order to move forward with that as quickly as possible. That's the only comment that I believe I had on the budget, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Can I ask Mr. Harper a question?
Sure.
Is it won't shut off, is that what it is?
Yeah, the gate valve inside the valve is deteriorated, so it is seat, but there's about a gap about that much.
Can you rebuild it?
You probably could, but you would have to kill the whole town, because there's no valve between here and the main.
When they replace it, to the whole town too, right?
That is for an insert valve without an
They'll
insert.
freeze it?
Huh?
They'll freeze the line?
The insert valve is basically, it looks like a tap saddle, and then a machine will go on top of it and bore into, and then you're changing it and install a butterfly valve inside the main, so you don't have to kill the town's water. That's why it's so expensive.
I got a question for you too,
All
CJ.
right.
If we replace that valve, does it necessarily have to be a replacement of the valve, or can you just replace this with a straight line?
Well, the valve itself is the city's shut off to the, like, if the mill would ever be disbanded, that's how we would kill the water to it. So you gotta have it.
I do have one other comment on the budget. I would like to raise the recreation budget by about $5,000 in order to provide for a hot dog giveaway at the 4th of July fireworks festivities, and also to build a veterans memorial.
That is a $2,000 addition that you would like to see, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, to the recreation event supply for $5,000.
Yes, please.
And we can also do internal budget amendments with proposals for a veterans wall, and if it does indeed exceed that cost, we can either do internal budget amendments or come back to the board if that's something that you all would like to see.
I would like to see that as well.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about tax exempt entities under the trash rates.
Okay. That would be, we can certainly discuss that. That's actually on the agenda as the next agenda item after we conclude the discussion on the budget ordinance.
Okay.
So, motion and second.
The motion on the floor is to adopt the budget as is. That has been seconded, so that will require a vote. That would not encompass any of the changes that have been made or suggested or proposed.
So, in order to adopt the budget as initially presented, all in favor? And all opposed?
I couldn't retract my motion.
It's fine. I mean, no. It's fine. You don't have to vote in favor of it because you motion. But the motion on the table has died 3, at least with a 3 majority. So now I would advise that it would be appropriate for a amended motion based on the feedback that you all would like to encompass. I believe that we have 3 things on the discussion log that was discussed. Number one was the salaries that Mr. Hay brought up. The second is the capital project with Kemp for the valve that I mentioned, and then the third was the addition to recreation that Ms. Cordell brought up. Those are the three that I have, so either consensus of the board to move forward with those or discussion on each.
I would make a motion that we include all three, approve the budget with those three inclusions.
And the salary that Mr. Hay indicated is a $300 salary total across the board for the mayor and the commissioners. And that would include the current commissioners and mayor that are enrolled in the town health insurance to stay on that plan and reimburse the town the difference. Is that what we were suggesting?
That's correct.
Your motion?
So that's my motion.
If I'm-
I guess
well,
we
if I may
elected
just-
officials could determine if they want to stay on or not.
Right. Just a suggestion or my thoughts on the matter. Logistically, that may be challenging. Certainly, we can take the $300 from commissioners that are currently on the plan if they agree. The deficit for that, roughly $180.15. I would have concerns about elected officials writing checks to the town and then those towns, and then those checks being reimbursed for insurance. I also would have issues collecting. If there was an issue collecting, I'm not quite sure what the appropriate course of action would be if we were unable to get a payment 1 month. Those would be my major concerns. If raising the pay is the mindset of the board, Commissioner Fowler, you indicated that 470 was average for this.
That's the average for the county.
For the county.
Yeah, what the exact amount of it.
Certainly, this is at the discretion of the board, but from a bookkeeping internal accounting standpoint, $480.15 per month for commissioners and the mayor, with the option to either get that $480.15 a month or get health care, would be clean. But we can certainly make it as you all see fit. I would just have worries about the reimbursement aspect and the billing and ensuring the payment is made. That would certainly be at your discretion. I think that takes care of the policy aspect Mr. Hay was talking about, that one commissioner may be compensated more than another with the health insurance premium. But with that, I have not done the math, and I'm not quite sure if that would result in the savings. Just quick math, it would appear to, but I don't have those numbers. But we'll certainly make it work, depending on your preference.
So you want your motion to stand?
I want my motion, but I stand by my motion. If it doesn't accept it, doesn't accept it.
Motion to increase salaries for the governing board to $300 per month in the governing body department. That is your motion, Mr. Fowler? Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Okay.
All opposed? No abstaining? So the motion carries, the budget is passed.
I just have a point of clarification.
Let's do it.
Were we voting just in for all those three line items, or? Okay.
I would ask for a separate or a separate motion to adopt the budget as amended. The language may have been tricky with the last discussion that we had. There may have been some confusion that we were voting just specifically on
that line item.
on that line item. Is there consensus with the other two line items, the valve replacement and the recreation increase? Is there any disagreement with that?
I disagree with the recreation part.
Okay. Let's start with the capital project with Kemp. Do we have consensus on that? Is everyone comfortable with including that $26,876 figure to the utility fund? Is there any disagreement with that? Mr. Morton?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Then that would bring us to the increase in the recreation budget. We do not have consensus, so I would ask for a motion on that particular line.
Do you have a motion?
I'll second that motion.
But I will.
Okay.
Either way.
All in favor?
Can I ask a question before we go on?
Yeah.
I ain't opposing veterans and all, but is that something we need to spend money on right now? A veteran wall?
I think.
I think we need one.
while
I don't
we're,
wanna rush into it and build something like they built last
Right.
time and fall off and kill somebody or something like that.
I think while we're renovating the parks and the lodge.
Could that be something we put in on the park renovations?
Yes.
Would that
We
fund?
can certainly
be there?
try. We're beginning designing stages of the park next couple of months. Once we get Ranlo Avenue and Boulder Court up and advertised, we're going to work on preliminary designs with the direct allocations for park renovations. That's certainly something that could be included.
That was my understanding.
I don't see any problem with increasing recreation by $5,000. I would be concerned about the quality of a wall that we would be getting or a monument that we would be getting if we're going to also be using that for event supplies as well. So we can certainly incorporate that in the designs. We can add the $5,000, and then we can use that towards any type of substantial steps that we'd have to take to procure the project. It, certainly possible. But we do have a motion and second on the floor to add the $5,000 to the budget.
So all in favor of adding 1,000? All opposed? Motion passes 4-1.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I would ask for a budget motion to approve the budget for fiscal year 23 as amended with the salary adjustment and the capital project for the utility fund and the $5,000 increase. So I would ask for a motion to adopt the budget as amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So now we've got consideration of the fee schedule for fiscal year 2023.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor Pro Tem, since we last met, the fee schedule has been amended with a few changes. Number one, it encompasses the original 5% increase for water and 5% sewer that has been levied by our providers. This is reflected in both inside rates and outside rates. At the May meeting, we discussed including an industrial rate, which is included on this fee schedule, and we also talked about the possibility of a different fee for tax-exempt entities when it as it pertains to garbage. So those fees are before you tonight. You all are welcome to adopt as is. We may make, and you certainly can make any changes, additions, or deletions that you would like to see to reflect the fee schedule for fiscal year 23.
Do we have any comments on the fee schedule?
I think my only question was on the tax exempt line that was added with the industrial line
Garbage fees?
for garbage fees, that's correct.
We did an average for those, Mr. Hay. For one can, we came up to $18 a month. Currently, tax-exempt entities are treated as residential properties. We essentially have two rates, residential rates and non-residential rates. So anything that's not a primary dwelling is considered a non-residential rate. So that's $24 a month for the first can. The fee schedule proposes an $18 a month fee for those cans, and that's reflected for an additional can. So as it currently stands, tax-exempt entities would be considered non-residential, and they would be charged that $24 a month rate. That's as it currently stands under this current fiscal year. The proposed budget changes that, or the proposed fee schedule changes that to 18.
We got 3 houses, it's outside of town on water.
On water,
Yeah.
down towards Peaceful Plains.
Yeah, Bob and Mountain.
Mhm.
3 or 4.
There's several,
Yeah. That are outside of town.
But this is also with the garbage fees. The non-residential rate currently includes businesses as well, industrial and commercial.
Would you say that again, because I think my understanding of what you said are two different things, about the, right now it's being charged as non-residential?
It is, yes, sir. On the fees currently, in this current fiscal year, in fiscal year 22, which is what we are currently in, it's charged the non-residential rate at $24. The fee schedule adds a tax-exempt entity charge at $18. So if this passes starting July 1, tax-exempt entities would be $18 a month. I'm sorry, does that make sense?
I thought it was at the residential rate.
Is
No.
that, I don't have,
Okay. I was,
is it a rate higher than the residential rate or lower than the residential rate?
The proposed tax-exempt entity rate,
For the tax exempt, yeah.
It is higher. Residential rate is $12 a month for your first can. Outside non-residential, which would be business or commercial, would be $24 a month for the first can, and then the tax exempt entity is $18 a month, so an average of those two. And that's something that we have not done before. We've traditionally treated it as residential and non-residential. A primary family dwelling, a home is residential, business, church, nonprofit, anything other than a home is billed at that
And
non-residential
then
rate.
what was the proposed rate for the industrial?
For industrial continues
Is
to
that
be.
for water or what?
There is a proposed additional change for industrial for water and sewer. It is more than residential. It is for base charge for residential is $7 a month that everyone gets charged. Under the proposed industrial rate is $10 base charge per month that a business would get charged, and then those tiers are significantly higher for entities that are categorized as industrial. There's roughly less than a dozen entities in town that would fit that industrial standard. And that also is new. That is not something that we have, that we've exercised in the past.
Are there any other changes to the fee schedule from this past year?
I do not believe so. No, ma'am.
What was the purpose of including tax exempt entities as their own separate?
There was some discussion that was had, I believe, at the May meeting. There had been some questions from some local churches in regards to the rates. I believe, Commissioner Morton, did you mention that issue in May? It may have been Mayor Black that brought up the issue of having a different rate for churches and tax exempt entities.
Yeah.
It was brought to my attention a while back, and then it was reiterated, I believe, at the May meeting.
So the overall cost for the waste removal for the town to go to waste management, that was going to be negotiated, and as it went down or up, or stayed the same?
It's increased.
Okay.
As everything had.
Yeah. Which was-
Mhm.
Any more discussion?
I guess, so this proposal for the new budget would, I guess, lower the tax burden for mosques, synagogues, churches, everything like that, for just the garbage rates, not the water rates, just the garbage rates?
The water rates would remain as inside town limit residential. We have currently just two rates for water. We have residential rate and outside rate.
Okay.
So as if a church, synagogue, nonprofit, 501c3 is in town limits, they would get that inside town limit rate. They're currently not experiencing any additional increase as opposed to a single family or any type of family residential home.
And
This is just exclusive to garbage. And this was something that was changed at the start of this fiscal year. We decided that we were going to do a different rate for garbage for non-residential structures. So that was a change from fiscal year 21.
So how would a tax exempt entity go about getting this rate? They would just show their 501c3 status?
And fill out some type of application. I would envision that we would have some type of paperwork that we would need to include on their account to flag to indicate that they would be eligible for this tax rate.
So in this instance that we have someone who is running a 501c event in their household,
Mm-hmm.
they would be able to take advantage, well, their household would be
They
cheaper
wouldn't be taking it,
anyway,
right.
yeah. That'd be
Right.
stupid, yeah.
Yeah.
Have to think through that, walk that dog over.
Is there any more discussion? Do we have any motions?
I would, since the rates have increased for the garbage, I would like to make change to the proposed that we take out the tax exempt entities. And leave them as they are, as now.
So your motion is to remove tax exempt entities and they will pay the non-residential rate?
That is my motion.
just a point of clarification, just to return it back to what it currently is?
Exactly.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Any other changes to the fee schedule? If not, I would ask for a motion to adopt the fee schedule as amended.
I'll make a motion to adopt the fee schedule as amended. Second. All in favor? All opposed? Carries. Fee schedule is adopted as amended. Okay, next thing is end of fiscal year budget amendments. Ms. Ryan?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Before you tonight, you have the larger budget amendments for the month of June. This will essentially close out some of the larger deficits within the budget in order to close out the fiscal year. As you can see, I am requesting amendments to the general fund revenue account for a total of $215,142.66. This is revenue that has exceeded what we initially projected. So we would be amending the budget to increase these line items to more accurately reflect the money that has come into the town over the last year. This is due to sales tax being higher than anticipated and our usual conservative practice of underestimating revenue. So we're looking currently at getting around $215,000 more than we had projected at the adoption of the budget. Following that, there are expenditures that would need to be increased per line item, roughly $90,000 in the general fund, where miscellaneous things have occurred over the year. We voted to move forward with the Unified Development Ordinance within focus. We moved forward with code enforcement, and we also moved forward with contracting out for code enforcement, and we also voted that mid-year 6% raise. So those items would need to be adjusted. The remainder of the items in the general fund and utility fund have been balanced out through internal budget amendments, where we've been able to use money that was budgeted for one line item that wasn't expended and moved to other line items to clear up those deficits. And lastly, in this proposed, in the current year budget, we have added 2 line items to start expending some of the grant funding that we've gotten. So those were included in non-departmental. I just asked for formal ratification of those line items. So those are the budget amendments that I have for the month of June. Would be glad to entertain any questions that you all may have on that matter.
Are there any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Budget amendments pass. Okay, next up we have recreation discussions. When?
Absolutely. You have two formal proposals before you, or one formal proposal before you tonight, and then some comments from the Young Bulls as well. I also have an update and some information pertaining to Milltown Nights. So in whatever order the board would like to discuss those, we can certainly move forward. It may be prudent to allow our guests to have first go at it, and then I can discuss Milltown Nights to close out the conversation.
Let's start with Mr. Lincoln. Do you want to come on up and
Good with how everybody doing this evening. So got enough this time. Go. My proposal was, well, first of all, I wanted the young boys to actually represent Tom Ranlo in the sports recreation center for Tom Ranlo. We were representing the partner of the team. I was Tom Ranlo, chatter and senior, they went back that. I guess I wanted to extend my hand and maybe we can come to some kind of agreement going forward with that. Before you, I have my 501c3s. Also have more brain getting more diverse. That's kind of what I was kind of sharing on the kind of see more diverse. You guys keep looking through there. I also have my flyers and things in different cultures, diversity, personality. So to be a part of all the things that got admitted today, I think that's right on time. Also too, with my volunteers, I got more strategic just to give parents and people involved peace of mind. I am doing a final background check. Those are the certificates of the volunteers that I have. I am going through legal zone to make sure those background checks are pretty solid. And we're making sure that all these kids out here are being safe. So extending my hand out, to be a representation of Ranlo, I want to make sure that all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, and make sure everybody's safe and niggas don't mind bringing the children out and kind of grow this thing. And, reason I got those papers in the front because just to show that my long-term commitment of extending my hand is something that, you know, if the guys did get behind us, that it wouldn't be something that's just, when it doesn't, when things go wrong, I walk away. You know, I'm here for the fight, so, you know, just extending my hand there. With that, also have in there for the financial breakdown too. You guys wanted to assist there since we were budget meetings and things like that. So, also too with the concession stand, understand that I do have a staff to keep it clean and things of that nature, and making sure that we don't have some mistakes of things happening, breaking, or whatnot, having a checklist of making sure all of my staff are well prepared, well equipped to put the mission and the whole operation is successful as possible. So.
I got a question on that actually. The staff you have for the concession stand, what would you be selling?
Well, we're going to try a few things to kind of see what works, and also keeping my ear to, you know, to Facebook and stuff like that. Kind of like I say, it's really catering to the town, whatever they would want. You know, I want to kind of have that. Kind of going off of previous, you know, listening to people and stuff like that. I know the slushies were a big thing, and hot dogs, something like that.
So my concern is if they sell prepared food, hot food, cold food that's prepared, that they get required and food handlers certifications, whatever the Gaston County is required.
Yes, sir.
That they would as well, they would adhere to that.
Yes, that is the reason why of having people properly equipped to do so.
And Mr. Lampley and I have discussed this. Since we last met, he and I have executed the event space waiver and release of liability as well as the special event application. In the agreement, it does state that the Young Bulls agree to abide by any and all rules and regulations of the Gaston County Health Department. So as we've discussed before, there are some things that the Health Department requires that you do get permitting for to sell, such as hot things, but then there are other things that they do not regulate. So that's certainly in the agreement that Mr. Lampley and I entered into back in May.
I have another question. To my knowledge, that the freezer and the concession stand doesn't work. Is that correct?
Yes.
Maintenance was on site today, tending to that issue. CJ, I don't know if we reached conclusion
They
of
were
that or
able
not, but they were
to,
here today.
if I remember correctly, Mr. Green said it was fixed.
Okay.
But I guess we as the town need to look at moving some of that because both them commercial freezers are too close to each other and it's too hot. And the hot air that it suck in, it cannot cool it down.
Okay.
So that's why it blew out.
And it's been 2 years, over 2 years since these have been up and running.
Been on board.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you wanna move one out of the concession stand?
Well, they just need to be separated out of that little closet
Closet.
area.
It's in the closet area, yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the information. Is there any more discussion?
Jairus, this packet is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for the articles of incorporation. Just touching base on the certificate of liability insurance, have you looked into insurance proposals for the team?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to note that.
The way that sports insurance works is until you have your rosters set, you don't have insurance because you have to submit names and ages of all of the participants, all of the children participating.
Right.
So typically, you wait until signups are done and before right around your first practice, you go online. Are you going through Sadler?
Wi-Fi.
You
But
go
same
on
concept
and
though.
and
Yes.
fill out all of the information for all of your teams because you've got to list each child and what team they're on. It's very specific.
Okay. Sure.
And again,
Excellent.
having the proper volunteers in place, you know, that's understanding that, having a team member that's going to these meetings, being knowledgeable, things like that. Like I said, creating a safe environment so it's a smooth operation. So
Absolutely.
represent Ranlo. So.
Thank you very much.
Were you looking for any action tonight, Darius, or was this just for point of information?
Actually, I want something to say, but I went up there 4 days ago, and I was watching his interaction with the kids. I was very impressed with the lessons that he was teaching them. It wasn't sports like per se. It was teamwork, how you address adults, how you come prepared. It kind of took me back to Marine Corps days. I was really impressed. So I did want to say thank you for the way that the whole point was to teach the kids life lessons.
Right. You know, me being a vet, ex-army myself, so, living rubber, so, yes, but no, I guess the motion I wanted to be the team representative for Ranlo. That's what I was asking.
I think you already are, right?
Okay.
Or do you want us to call you the Ranlo Young Bulls? Is that-
Well, well, yeah, I guess so. That's what we use motion on. But I mean, I guess I had to just come up here, I guess. I don't know. I know we had that kind of talk before. Still, but now you guys have the information to give you a peace of mind to sleep by that night. So.
I'm not quite, I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. The action that we're looking for, are we looking to ratify a show of support by naming the team the Ranlo Bulls, or were you looking for something different? I'm sorry, Darius, I'm just a bit.
I guess I actually have a question. Just reading over this letter here. I guess it ties into that question of, are you looking for our official, sponsorship of, the name of Ranlo Young Bulls or whatnot?
Yeah, the advertising.
And are you specifically seeking any monetary help from the town of Ranlo? I guess that's my own question.
Yeah, I'm extending that hand, but like we had already discussed with the broadcasting and on the water bill and everything like that. So just come to saying it verbally from that nature. But there is a financial there too. But like I said, not really had it, but it's there in front of you. So
Okay.
guys,
See, I think we had discussed sending out some of their flyers with our water bills. That would be at no cost to the town, as from what I gathered. Is that correct, John?
It would just be that cost of ink and toner on the back of the utility.
And the use of some storage facility, the concession stand, but I think that's the extent of what we're offering at this point. Okay. And the title of Ranlo Young Bulls. I don't think that the rest of them are, but.
Who's responsible for the field?
For the field, responsibility of the field, I believe we said that the Young Bulls were going to take care of lining the field, if I'm not
Marking
mistaken.
and lining.
Marking and lining.
Yeah, we'll just mow it as normal.
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping TJ would do it.
They're good.
Boy, yeah, they've been running all over the place, trying to figure out what's straight and not straight.
So I don't know, is there any action to be taken here? Do we want to officially
I
give
think
the
we
title?
said the name, we probably should.
Ranlo Young Bulls, I'm not sure.
Action to ratify support to advertise on the back of, a motion to ratify support to advertise on the back of the utility bills and to show support for the name of the Ranlo Young Bulls. Yeah, that could be in order. I'm not sure if there's any other action the board wish to take on this matter.
Or do we take them until we get more clarity on stuff?
I don't think it's necessary to take, I don't think it's necessary to take that.
I'll make the motion to extend the naming and to advertise on the water bills. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. I'll second that motion.
All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
So, next up we have the proposal from Stafford Party Rentals. Mike?
I believe we have a representative here tonight to discuss these proposals. This was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. A couple of proposals for the board's consideration in regards to the use of the concession stand from Bradford Party Rentals. You all have those proposals before you tonight. We have a proposal A, which would work in a sublease-like capacity. They would pay the town monthly usage fee, and then they would sell concession-related items, snow cones, popcorn, cotton candy, and the like. And then there was a second option, which would be using the concession stands to sell the same items in exchange for a 90-10 split of monthly profit. So this was a proposal that was presented to me. I assured Bradford Party Rentals that I would forward this to the board. So those are before you tonight for review and discussion. Mayor Pro Tem.
And they have, they've done several events for us in the past, right?
They have, yes, ma'am.
National Night Out, Annual Bikeathon, July celebration, I guess, some other things. Yeah. Awesome.
You have any questions or discussion?
Yes. My only question is, which of these do you want, which proposal?
I mean, personally speaking, from having had to run and work with an outside contractor as far as, concession stand, it's a lot cleaner and easier to do a monthly fee. Then you don't have to worry about math, you don't have to worry about distrust, it's just a flat fee. That's my opinion.
I like that option as well. I guess the next question is, what's that fee gonna be?
I mean, it depends on how often you wanna use it.
Right.
Do you have a figure in mind?
No, I know you was talking about on Facebook when we were talking about not being able to use it when the sports teams were.
Yeah.
So do you have, do you know what days what days y'all plan on practicing or using?
Monday through Thursday
In the evenings,
In the
you gotta do
evenings?
evenings or daylight.
in the evenings.
From 6 to 8, is that correct?
So yeah, that would work out good.
So
So what we seen on Facebook was parents were going out to the splash pad at the park.
Yeah.
No, there's no food, no drink, nothing for them little ones.
Yeah.
Now
So
that
that's
wife
how
knows
we,
she-
But we will be start being out there doing the daytime. Are you talking about the concession stand being open?
yeah.
Yes, we're gonna try to come open a little earlier. I got a few teenagers trying to keep them out of trouble, trying to make some summer jobs. That's why I was trying to get more into, having more versatile what's going on with slushies. 'Cause my kids, they want to go over the splash pad too, so I like to have some eyes on them.
Right.
Do we,
So,
I guess we need to divvy up some time is what
Yes.
I'm thinking is.
Yes.
You're not gonna be, are you planning on having games on the weekend time?
Saturday, yes.
Saturdays, do you know what time maybe those might be? We kind of need to hammer down, I think, what, like a divvy of time, that's, and of course, this is negotiable in future meetings, but, if you're saying you're gonna be there from, let's say, you said sometimes earlier on the weekdays maybe now, or?
Yeah, like watch schools out, probably like an hour before practice or like
Okay.
that. Let them go to the splash pad before it's hot.
So your practices run from 6 to 8, so you're talking about having the concession stand open from
5.
5 p.m. until 8 p.m.?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during the day, it's
Slow.
completely.
From like 11 or
yeah.
11 to
Yeah.
5 even. I mean, however long you would like to. I mean, it's up to you and your business. But weekdays are fine during the daytime. Weekend or Sundays, even Saturdays that aren't on the time of your games, that aren't on the time your games are going to be in the evening or the
Well, I was
daytime.
gonna say, on our Saturdays, we do bounce houses too, so usually like the first from like 9 a.m. to like 3 a.m., we're busy setting up bounce houses.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Saturdays are out
So
here.
I was
You're
gonna
out
say
on-
Saturdays is kinda.
You're out on Saturdays anyway, almost. Basically.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Oh, yeah,
that's-
like I don't really know the schedule yet. That we need condition.
No, that's fine though. But so, I guess in the meantime, we can plan on at least maybe 5 to 8 Monday through Thursday for the Young Bulls. We'll keep Saturday open for now until you guys figure out the game schedule. For Bradford party rentals, we'll talk about maybe like 11 to 5.
Monday through Friday.
I mean, Monday through Friday, 11 to 5. I mean, if you guys want to do Fridays later than that, then that's fine as well to me. I guess, again, it gets the question of what monthly fee are we envisioning for that?
I mean, I think for Monday through Friday, that's 5 days of power and water usage. $300 a month? Just kind of spitballing.
As I say, I'm texting back.
That's fine, all right.
I think I'm more inclined for a flat rate versus a percentage of sales, or
Yeah.
more proposal rate.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that fee looks like.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm trying to think, you're gonna be out there 20 days in July, or thereabout, 20 days in August. So it's,
Are we looking at Sundays? Is Sunday off the table for both? Do you have any interest in Sundays or no? Okay, and none from you, Derek?
Well, I do want to clarify this though, because there's going to be two different, you know, people using concession stand. How can we differentiate, separate of like maintenance or anything
Right.
for us? I don't want to be held responsible for things going on and not want to pay for it.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
when it comes to me and my staff, I'm ready to be held responsible for it. But I don't want to go back
Absolutely.
and forth with that one, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
And I think this schedule would work well. If the Bradford Party Rentals is going to use it from 11 to 5, at 5, we can check, inspect, and ensure that everything is in good working order before we leave here from a town standpoint. And then in the mornings, before,
Bradford Party Reynolds is insured with $1 million bond. I have a
Okay.
copy of it if you need.
okay, perfect.
so
It can be inspected
the
twice.
town will inspect at the end of Bradford's time as yours begins. So
Is that the whole concession field, bathroom, all of that?
they're only using the concession stand.
Okay. The only reason why I asked that is
The
because it could
bathrooms
be.
are us anyway.
Oh, okay, I was just making sure,
Yeah.
because I know it'll bring more activity to Splash Pad,
Right.
and then you guys may be focusing on the concession stand and don't check the bathroom, and then
Yeah.
we're liable for that, because I've already been stopping people to ensure that we're not liable. If it's not our kids in the bathrooms, you know, doing our time
Right.
in the
You
field.
wouldn't be
it's
liable for that.
just-
I think-
Just
yeah.
because on us.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, we'll be responsible for the bathrooms and
Yeah.
public, bathrooms and stuff like that, so I think it's just regarding the concession stand itself,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, yes. And as I was saying, this schedule I think works well. In the mornings, we can check prior to Bradford Party Rentals taking possession, and then in the afternoons, we can check after they leave. That way, we're checking after the Young Bulls use
Yeah.
it and after Bradford uses it. So
Yeah.
I think that would work well with the proposed schedule.
Okay.
so now we just gotta nail down the fee.
A fee, yes, ma'am.
I mean, are there any counter proposals? $300 a month comes out to about $15 a day. That should cover. Most costs for us, for the town.
And that would be contingent on what Bradford Party Rentals is comfortable with.
And she's
Check.
loading.
Mhm.
She's loading over here. Yeah, like you said, that fee would be about $15 a day for opening costs, or I mean for costs for them to take.
What if we just do a daily use cost
Okay.
for them?
With the option to use it 5 days a week and
Right.
then scheduling and then billing based on the number of days used.
Right.
And
Would
we
that
want to
be
keep
the
that
daily
15,
use?
or do we want 15? I think probably covers our cost for electricity and water. That means if there's days of the
That you
week
don't- yeah.
that you don't go out there and open it, then it's no cost to you.
Okay, yeah.
That way you're not losing money if you have employees that are sick or out or staffing issues.
Okay, yeah, that
So the
Um,
daily usage of $15. So, I guess, is there any more discussion of water information?
Got one.
Yes.
Cause I know we be storing water bottles and Gatorade. Now, how would that be affected? We be leaving water bottles and Gatorade and what we kind of do.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up next.
There is
We got 2 freezers, can we assign one to you and one to him, both, they're the same size freezer, right?
Well, both of them working, right?
To my knowledge, I think that is there one freezer and 2 refrigerators?
Yes.
Is that
One
what it
freezer
is?
and 2 refrigerators, and you have a outside freezer that's working. If you need to freeze something,
Okay.
you can put a padlock in.
Would
Outside storage, or auto storage too.
assign one refrigerator of those to each of them, and
Put a padlock on.
yeah, we could do a padlock with, a key for you guys. And then the freezer situation, I guess, I don't know if that one will, if we can separate the one from the other and put it somewhere else. If it works, we can assign a freezer each. And if not, then we could either share a freezer or buy another freezer. I don't know what the other kind of option is for that. Is
They both work, right?
Both freezers.
Everything works.
Everything works, one freezer's just outside, like what you would get a bag of ice in.
Okay.
And then
But-
the other freezer's working.
But the other freezer I was there yesterday and it didn't work. And so I know that they went out there today and they got it to work, but the issue is that it needs to be moved, correct? It needs to
Yeah,
be moved out of that
it
space.
needs more space.
Yeah. So we
Is there
can
room to
move.
just split it? You said they could both stay in the concession stand, right?
It's gonna need some figuring and readjusting some stuff.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have something concrete to look at. Why don't,
Water sewer.
my suggestion would be, let's get all of the kinks worked out, and then, we can have a contract or something to vote on next week.
Okay. That would
If,
be great.
Yeah.
that way, we can kind of answer all the questions as they come up, and everybody will know exactly what's what and how
Mhm.
everything's gonna work before we just kind of jump into something.
And I'll work something up over the next few days, and I'll send you a copy of it. You can review and give you plenty of time before it's voted on, because we have another meeting a week from today.
Okay.
So we can decide it at that time and tentatively look for an early July start date for
Yeah.
the agreement that works.
So, do you want a motion to table it, or just?
We can, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table discussion of the rental of the concession stand until Thursday. Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous. So we'll revisit that next Thursday. Okay, any other recreation discussion?
I do, yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. I wanted to give an update and gauge the board's interest on activities that we have planned for Milltown Nights. As you know, Milltown Night will be this Saturday, June 25th, from 5 till 9. We have had several proposals that have been presented to the town. One being a movie being showed on the ball field. I believe the tentative schedule called for 8:20, 8:30 for that film to be shown. I have secured a license for this film. Sing 2, I believe, is the movie. We have all the necessary paperwork in line to show that movie. Of course, videos cannot be publicly streamed without a license. That license is $565 to show that movie. That's a one-time license, and that's from Swank Motion Pictures. Secondly, we have a invoice from the band, the Night Tillers, for 3 hours of live music. We have an agreement with them, tax paperwork that I secured today. That contracted price is $650. And lastly, over the past couple of days, I have had an inquiry from Cavendish Brewery. I believe Commissioner Hay has a good relationship with them, and they had reached out about coming to the festival to sell beer. I spoke with the owner of the brewery. I spoke with several contacts at the Alcohol Bureau Commission. It requires a malt beverage permit, and it requires a special event permit on file with the state. Cavendish Brewery has both of those. In order to make this work in such a short turnaround, there are regulations from the ABC board that requires another brewery has to be invited to the event. We have pulled permits for 3 breweries, one being Cavendish, and they have been invited with such a short turnaround. Cavendish is the only brewery that has confirmed to be at the event. So as this is somewhat uncharted territory, I did want to bring this to the board to make you aware of it. Back in January of 2020, the board passed an ordinance which provided for the possession and consumption of malt beverages and unfortified wine, but has not been exercised as of now. So I wanted to give you an update on those, opportunity for any type of comment that you may have. But so far, that is the lineup for what we have for Saturday night.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
The first question is this going to be in a segregated area?
That would be a restriction that the board could put onto this. Currently, as the ordinance is written, there is no like beer garden required spacing. It would just need to be combined based on the plan that was submitted to the police department that would show that it would be confined to the field. If it was the board's desire that we were to limit where they would be, that could be a requirement, an additional stipulation that's put into this.
So as I know it right now, it's you can buy the beverage, but you can't leave the field. You can't. There's going to be signs posted. There will be police. Right, is that correct? There'll be police there to make sure people don't leave with open containers. Walk away from the.
Well, whatever y'all's plan is, if y'all say they can have it on the field, we will have officers working. We'll make sure that they're not leaving with the open alcohol and make sure nobody's coming in bringing their own.
My concern is with the field being as open as it is, you would need a lot more than your entire staff. My preference would be to have a roped off area, a specific area for drinking, and then you can't take it out of that area. That way there can be one person at the entrance and exit, and,
Okay, I can get on with that. Do we want to do it in the space that the vendors and the food trucks will be at that area, or do we want to put them in their own corner? I mean, my suggestion would be the area where the vendors are, include them as a vendor with next to Will's, the food truck, next to the other vendors that are selling their merchandise, and to get into that in and out, there's someone there. That way, if I guess if you go to buy one of these beverages, you're not just stuck in a corner for, I guess, however long it takes you. Yeah. So just the area that the vendors are in.
are is Will the only food vendor?
I believe. Are you guys vending?
Yeah.
They're gonna have snow cones, popcorn, cotton candy. So there's gonna be other things besides that. I mean, we can put them in their own area if we'd like to, and it's up to the board.
I think that would be my preference, just because it'll be a little cleaner
Yeah.
to maintain.
Okay. I'm good with that.
It'll definitely be easier on the police department. We could post one officer at the entrance, so
Yeah.
we're watching the area, and then the other officers will be watching the rest of the area.
And we also have secured a vendor who will be providing free face painting, free glitter tattoos for children. Like you said, gonna have cotton candy, popcorn, snow cones.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
A movie for kids, so very family friendly for all those things. We have, I think, 15 committed at least vendors to sell their items if they like. I know there's a variety of different vendors that will be coming out. If anyone was at the other event that we had, I mean, they had people selling homegrown honey from the Piedmont region to people selling homemade sweets, and guy that's going to do like selling his own woodworking. I mean, just small businesses trying to make a living.
So do you want a motion?
I would like a motion to ratify the proposals as submitted this evening. Yes, ma'am. That would be the band, the licensing, and the proposed North Carolina Alcohol Beverage Control Commission permits for the necessary arrangements to have a brewery if that's the board's desire.
So in the event that another brewery wants to participate, would that be an increased cost for us?
No, there's no cost to us.
There's no cost.
I will make that motion with the stipulation that the brewery have its own roped off area as a beer garden.
Do we want to rope off all food vendors in one area, or just the beer
I
garden?
think just that.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Anything else on recreation?
That is all I have unless there are comments or any other matters from the board.
now I'll move on to the town manager's report.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I just have a couple of things for the board tonight. Of course, as we mentioned, Milltown Nights will be this Friday from 5 to 9 on the ball field, so we certainly invite everyone to come out. Saturday, June 25th from 5 to 9 on the ball field. From 5 to 9, we invite everyone to come out and enjoy that. Also, our fireworks show will be on July 9th, as we were discussing earlier, so we certainly invite the public to attend that as well. I also didn't want to make the board aware of a conversation that I had with the State Treasurer's Office this week. They have finally reviewed the results from our fiscal year 21 year audit. They still have very strong concerns about the utility fund, specifically that during fiscal year 21 we continued to show that we ran a deficit in that fund. They are concerned to the point that they are discussing downgrading the town from being on the unit assistant list to being a distressed community. This is not final action. It was just the first notification that we received that it was being considered. I reached out to the State Treasurer's Office and assured them that I felt as though fiscal year 22 would show an improvement in the utility fund. Fiscal year 21 was, of course, based on several years that we did not have audits and several years that had not been balanced in regards to our internal bookkeeping. So with those issues remedied, with the increases in fiscal year 21, or fiscal year 22 and the pending increases for fiscal year 23, I feel very confident that the utility fund will have stabilized by such time that the State Treasurer's Office reviews the fiscal year 22 audit. So those conversations are occurring, but we're certainly advocating to show that we are doing what we can in order to keep the situation stabilized in regards to water sewer rates. Those are the only formal 2 items that I have for the board tonight, but certainly if you guys have anything for me, I'll be glad to address anything that you see fit.
Just as a point of clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
In the fiscal year 21 budget,
Mhm.
we made very minor changes to water and sewer rates.
We did.
And we anticipated running at a loss that year.
Mhm.
Just less of a loss than the year before.
And we did.
So fiscal year 21, or 22, we are projected to bring in approximately, do you know how much?
At least a couple $100,000, I would think, when everything is said and done. We're certainly going to be running at a surplus.
So, do you think that will be enough to be able to show them that we have corrected?
I hope so. They were also looking at utility rates for fiscal year 21, and you are correct, Katie, that we did make adjustments in fiscal year 21, moving to a tiered schedule, tiered rate, as opposed, right, that was to be to our advantage in applying for rates, that the more you use, the more that you pay in that tiered structure. We made that with slight tweaks, but then in fiscal year 22, we made much more comprehensive changes with a roughly 9 and 13% change to water sewer. So the rates that they were looking at were older rates. The second preliminary review would be the new rates that we're looking at, which are substantially higher from their preliminary review, as we had not increased rates since 2014. So I feel confident that with the rate increases, with the fiscal year 22 audit at their discretion for review, that we'll be in a much more stronger, competitive, and more stable position when they review in the spring of 23.
Question?
Oh, that was a question.
Any comments from the board?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about that. I do have a comment. I do want to thank the town for issuing the proclamation. As a member of the LGBT community, it does mean a lot to me, so I do want to say thank you.
And I have a comment. I went to, let's see, May 30th, I believe, the town and state dinner in Raleigh. And I met with both Representative Corbett and Representative Loftus, and talked with both of them. And we have, because of rising inflation costs, we have approximately $540,000 shortfall in the money that we were allocated from the state. And they both are working to get that money allocated to us so that we can continue with all of the projects that we initially anticipated having funded by the state. Anything else? Now we have a closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 Alpha 36. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Also,
All in favor of going to closed session? So, please step outside for a few minutes while we discuss this.